And what's up, everybody? I'm back with another track review, racetrack review, stadium review, whatever you want to call it. Today we are reviewing the Crystal Motor Speedway, located in Crystal, Michigan. Fitting name for the place that it's in. Small town, very, very small town. Small track, too. It's not a quarter-mile track, contrary to what I've said in previous reviews of tracks, and people have been gracious enough to leave very kind messages in the comments correcting me. So I will get it right this time. They called it a 3/8 oval at the track, so I was able to get that correct this time. So no worries there, Crystal fans. I got you. This is another dirt track. This was the second dirt track that I have ever visited. And I got a lot of thoughts on it. So let's jump right into it, shall we? First off, let me talk about just kind of the experience that you'll get when you go to the track, which I kind of do for every one of these reviews. It's a cool entrance. They have a nice start finish line, like checkerboard line by the entrance by the road. When you go in, the sign is pretty nice. So that's a good way, just a good way to get the presentation going right off the bat. That's cool. Now the entrance to the track itself, like that's the entrance to like the parking lot and stuff. And once you get to the track itself, that entrance is very, very, very narrow. And it was the gate was a little hard to find. They had gates that were like closed, but could have been used with like paved pathways. That seemed like that was the right area to go to, but for some reason, on this night in particular that we went, they had this very, very, very narrow pathway in between a couple of buildings that was the way that people were going to walk through, and it could fit no more than two people, and two people was being generous. They had to be two pretty skinny people to get through there. If you had a fat person walking through there, it's like barely any room. And so when we had it, there was a rain delay, so everybody thought the race was going to be over because it was pouring rain, so everybody left at the same time, caused a lot of crowding getting out of the track. And if you want to come back in, which you can do, they have a you can just get a stamp to re-enter. Can't really go in, not because they won't let you, but because there's no room to get through. And that can just be that's a little weird. That's just weird. It's just frustrating. I don't know why they did it on this night. There's probably a good reason. I just don't know it. So there you go. Talking about the ticket prices, I felt like the ticket prices were just they were on the higher side of the average that we've been seeing for short tracks across the state this year. 15 bucks is not terrible by any means, and we got plenty out of that 15 bucks. Almost 5.5 hours worth of racing, so definitely was worth it. But I just felt like it's on the higher side, but not outrageous by any means. I also really like their selection of souvenirs here. They have a really nice. They have a I guess not. It's not like super nice, but it is pretty cool. You can just walk into like a physical shop at the track, and they have shirts and hats and diecasts, little cars for kids and candy and stuff like that. But they also had pins. It's the first short track that I've ever been to, short track, but I'm with short track I mean like local short tracks, not like Bristol. Like obviously there's pins at Bristol, but they had pins here, which I was not expecting at all, and that's a really cool touch. I love that. As a big pin collector, that was a very, very welcome sight for me. So I love seeing that they had pins. They also had a lot of other cool stuff to look at before you got to your seat. They have that sign that I mentioned in the vlog where it's like, I don't remember exactly what it said. If you can't handle that, then you gotta leave, something like that. Some of the ads were upside down, and one of the billboards was cut in half. I noticed that. I also noticed that they have a cool little Hall of Fame section, which I really like. That's a cool little thing to do. I wish more tracks did that, kind of commemorating their history and stuff like that. It's a really cool thing, and you gotta gotta like that. You gotta definitely like that. So it was really cool. Then you get to your seats. The view is pretty good. Just like I-96 Speedway, there are no walls outside of the area protecting the grandstands. Even the pit area is pretty much fully exposed to any car that slides off of there. We didn't see anybody like slide off into the pit area, but it could happen. You can see it, and there's no walls protecting it. Though it is a little higher banked. Let's say about the banking is about the same as I-96, but they weren't going as fast as I-96. I felt like, at least. But we did see a lot more cars fly off the track. I definitely think we saw a good 6, 7, maybe 8 cars fly off. I got a few of them in the vlog. I didn't get all of them. Some of them like drove off, but then we were able to drive back on. Some just completely flew off, and you could see the dust fly up, and you could see, they weren't coming back. There was no way they were coming back from that. But just kind of noticed that. They also have a little sign out in turn 2. You can kind of see in the vlog, but not really. It's like there's a light out there to indicate if there's a caution or not. But also there's like a turn sign, and it says, continue left, please drive carefully, that kind of thing. I like that. They probably just took that from a road somewhere, but that's cool. Also on the track, there's tires that are driven into the dirt, so they're like half sticking out of the dirt on the bottom lines of the turns. I don't know exactly why those were there. I assume that they were there to make sure the cars couldn't get super low on the track, maybe to act as like a runoff area for crashes or whatnot. They're an interesting choice, though. I think they take up a good part of the racing surface, and I feel like the strategy is kind of lost on there, even though most drivers, anyways, the ideal line was closer to the top anyways. I just don't know why they would put that there. In fact, I think it caused more problems than with cars hitting them, especially on restarts and stuff like that. But it really didn't cause too many massive issues, just some small ones that I noticed. Caused a couple crashes and that kind of thing. But it worked. I mean, it's a way to indicate where it's going to go and stuff like that. Where to run the line on and stuff. So didn't really do anything too crazy, but I also really like the announcers. That's another good thing that I really liked. I thought they were did a very good job at just keeping the fans engaged, and they were doing a good job with commentary and all that sort of stuff. So that was cool to see too. So I really, really like that. So good job, announcers. Did a good job. And then otherwise track operations were good. Nothing too crazy though. They did bring out a school bus like during the pace laps and stuff, which was weird. I don't know why they did that, but they also used it like to pad down the track, because when we went, it rained, and it rained a lot. It wasn't supposed to rain at all, and it rained on 3 separate occasions. Twice they were able to just keep going because it was just a short sprinkle. The one time though, it started to downpour, and they ended up having to end one of the races, the modifieds, 4 laps short of the finish, because by the time they got back going, why are you gonna run 4 laps, But I do have to commend the track staff for being very good with handling the rain delay. They worked really hard to get the racing going, and they were very swift on making sure that they got all the vehicles and proper stuff out there necessary to make sure that they didn't lose the track and that they would have to cancel the other 2 races. They did a really good job at being a good job. The announcers did a good job communicating with people, and overall, I think other than the crowding system getting out of the track, it was a really, really, really effective situation for keeping the fans informed and also making sure that they do their best to get the track back in racing order. Great job there, guys. Great job there. And that's really all I gotta say about this track. It was fun. It was a long night, but it was a fun night. Saw some good racing. Just had some fun out there, and it was really, really fun to enjoy that. So I definitely would recommend going if you're in the area and want to see some good short track racing. They got the dirt track at Crystal Speedway right there. They do the kids stuff too on the infield, just like I-96 Speedway does. So that was cool to see too. But other than that, I don't really have anything else super crazy to say. It was a fun time though. For my final score for Crystal Speedway, I would have to give you guys a good I'll give you an 8 out of 10. Had a lot of fun, and I definitely want to try and go back at some point. So maybe eventually. We're gonna try and hit up some other ones though. Maybe not this year though. This was our last true planned track for the season. So we might. There's one more that we're hesitant about. We have it on our schedule, but we're not very sure we're going or not. We'll let you guys know. But anyway, if you've ever been to Crystal Speedway, I'd love to know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. And that's going to do it for this video as well. If you want more talk about Crystal Speedway, you can check Talking NASCAR podcast episode number 89, as well as a different episode because Hitmaster went here as well. I'm going to talk about it on episode 89 though for sure, so you can see more stuff there. But otherwise, and you can also check out the vlog if you want to see some of the stuff I was talking about here in this review. So that's going to do for this review. Stay tuned for much more amazing content, including more stadium reviews and other awesome stuff. And until next time, see you guys later. Goodbye.